Hi everyone, welcome to Mike's Laboratory. Happy Monday. I'm off of work today because I had to take my girl out to get a colonoscopy, so I got the rest of the day to myself. Sweet. So anyhow, today's video is going to be about the Classic Collection Joes. These guys don't get a lot of love from the vintage community. I know there's a lot of guys out there who like them, as do I. So we're going to review them, the various figures, and some of the sets. And we'll do this a couple of videos, I think. Today I'm going to make this one kind of long, and we're going to take a look at the basic figures, what are the differences between them, and then we'll hit a couple of the sets. Sound good? All right. Okay, everybody. Let's rock and roll. So, to begin with, these three guys right here. Hang on, we have to do this a little differently. We'll start one at a time. The Classic Collection guys come in basically three varieties. We'll go from the crummiest to the best. These guys are the basic figure. And as you can see, they bend pretty good. They articulate pretty good. The range of motion is real similar to a vintage Joe. Let's get you out of the way. The range of motion is similar to a vintage Joe. And this is the coolest thing that I like the most about the Classic Collection guys. Unfortunately, they did not all come with this. This is called Gung Ho Grip. Hinged fingers on both hands, trigger finger, and the other three move separately. And you ever been frustrated with a vintage Joe by trying to get him to grip a rifle? Because that wrist doesn't do this. But you can do that, and he can put up to his shoulder and hold a scoped rifle and look through the scope. This is a superior hand design to the original, obviously. And I think it's even superior to Kung Fu Grip. I really like them. These guys don't bend here like a vintage Joe. They just go side to side, but that's kind of taken up by the excessive swing. They do sit a lot better than a vintage Joe does, as you can see, and they're a little shorter in stature than a vintage Joe. Weak points: some of them come with these little itty bitty feet and keeps them from standing very well, unless, look at that, he stood okay. However, these joints tend to get loose after a while, and especially when you're wearing the springy rubber boots that they have, it tends to push them back and they'll fall over backwards. Kind of like Bullet Man when you got a loose body. But anyhow, all in all, I think these guys are pretty good, and I think that they are just about equal to the original Joes in many ways. Other negatives, if you look in here, there's just a strip of plastic going through his groin here. Excuse me, I'm not trying to be a pig. That these spin on. That can break here. You can see it right there. That just goes through this pelvis piece, and those break fairly easy if you smack them. Getting these guys apart is a different story, but we'll touch on that a little later. Okay, next ones. This is the same basic body. This is the second type of hand they come with, which are these big ham-handed, rubbery, bendy hands. They don't originally have the trigger finger slid apart. I do that myself on them. And these kind do not do the wrist up and down like the Gung Ho Grip hands do. The hands work okay for gripping things, but they are huge and hard to fit through the sleeves on some clothing if you put them into something different other than what they came in. This particular guy has the larger style feet, which are real similar to vintage feet. I've seen no rhyme or reason as to which ones come with the big feet or the small feet. I've seen the big feet on these guys, the basic bodies. I've also seen the big feet on the next type I'm about to show you. Oh, the other thing. This is the muscle arm version. Generally, if the guy came in a uniform with short sleeves, he'll have these muscular arms, which makes it look kind of cool. This guy originally came out of the Navy 44 millimeter gun set, and he came with a USN tattoo, which is pretty cool. So, oh yeah, and the dog tags usually reflect the service too as well. As you can see, this one says USN. Okay, next one. This is one of the Adventures of figures, or your Adventure Team, I forget which. But this is the super articulated body, which is really nice. Head's got more range of motion. You can do a lot more with posability with these guys. They're similar to the 21st Century dudes, and also pretty similar to some of the Formative International figures, where they have a lot more flexibility with the joints. These are more delicate, however. These pieces in between that make for the double movement are made of a harder plastic, and they can indeed break fairly easily, so you got to be careful with them. Also, you'll notice the chest and belly gives you more range of movement here. All in all, very nice, somewhat delicate. This guy has the smaller feet. As I said before, I have not seen any difference between wide to bigger feet and the smaller feet. I've seen both types on the three basic kinds of bodies. Okay, those are the basic bods and the advantages and disadvantages. Let's see, another thing that's very cool about these dudes is they come in a huge variety of head sculpts, which the original Joes obviously did not. This guy and this guy are probably the most common. They both come in different hair colors, different eye colors and stuff, but these two heads you'll see more than any others. As I was saying, a wide variety of head sculpts. If you look at these guys, and there's even more head sculpts than this. That's one thing that they really struck good on with these guys. They even did a Foreign Soldiers series, and they made the heads look pretty ethnic. Good job on that too. Okay. This guy here, this particular head sculpt, this one I reflocked because his hair was just falling off terribly. I'll show the original flocking shortly. I flocked them up in 2mm with the same color you originally had. You can see they tried to stick with the Adventure Team theme a bit, give him a goatee instead of a full beard. And he looks like a pretty tough guy too. I think that these Joes are a worthy successor or a worthy addition to the vintage line, and they are common. There are literally millions of them out there. Hasbro flooded the market with these things when they were competing with 21st Century and Formative International to get a share of the action figure market back in the early 2000s. Unbelievable. You can buy these things for $1 or $2 a piece sometimes. Generally, a good one will cost you around 10 to 15. In any event, let's move on to a couple of the sets. This set you see right here, a lot of you probably recognize it. This is the Adventure Team redo of Hunt for the Abominable Snowman. They called it something different, Search for the Yeti or something like that. However, the centerpiece of this set is obviously this guy. This is cool. This guy was also redone for a club set called The Search for the Sasquatch or something like that in brown fur. Anyhow, he's bendable. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. Oh, nope, that's as far as it goes. Oh well. Hey, bendable. You got wire in him. Whoopski. Got pretty cool hands. Pretty fierce and mean looking face. He's kind of plush filled. All in all, very, very cool. Out of all the classic collection guys, I think that this is probably one of the best parts of it all. This Yeti figure is very well done, very cool. I mean, I've had this for 20 years, and I played with it and messed around with it and even took it outside for snow shots. It's held up beautifully. All right. Now, on to this guy. This is the figure that came with it. As you can see, he is this head sculpt, only just flocked, and in different, eyeball color and stuff. The flocking on these guys sucks. The original does. This one here is held up better than most, but it's a very short, like 0.5 millimeter, I think. If only they had used a little more. You can see where the flock kind of stuck to the glue when they did it. This one's flock is, like I said, pretty good compared to a lot of them I've seen where it's just falling off. But not a bad idea to flock them up to get that original Adventure Team look. I'm going to take a look at his snowsuit here. It's made out of this shiny rayon kind of fabric. And it's absolutely beautiful looking with the colors. And it's pretty good too. Like I said, I've had this figure for better than 20 years. And I like it. Underneath, he came without any other clothing. However, I put some stuff underneath him because the snowsuit kind of hung and you could see his neck and stuff through there without the clothing underneath it. And it does make sense that you would be wearing a regular outfit underneath this, a snow parka set like this. I love the bright colors. They really pop. On this one, I'll show you the third type of hand that came with these guys. And that is new Kung Fu Grip. Again, monstrously huge, just like the other hands in this line. These ones are colored gray, I'm assuming to represent gloves, but it looks more like he's a corpse's hands. But anyhow, these are pretty good. You can see they're not tearing at all after all these years. And they're pretty flexy and bendy. They can hold stuff pretty good. And you can even have them. The other one, it even works to do this. Came with this thumb hole stock rifle. The hands are flexy enough to make this happen as well. Pretty cool. Okay, on to the boots. Boots came with these clip-on snow crampons, which are pretty cool. Ice crampons. The boots, however, although they haven't failed me yet, I can see where they might. And we'll take one off and show you why I think that. They got these little plastic tabs. There we go. That come apart like this. As you can see, it's this plastic at the bottom, a flexi plastic joint. You want to be careful not to tear that in half. Now, this guy does have the smaller feet, by the way, and he is a super articulated figure as well. These boots also come into play on the next thing I'm going to show you, but we'll get to that in a minute. The other disadvantage here is the way these ice crampons are designed. There's a little tab on the back of the boot that fits into there. You can't put them on anything else. But anyhow, it works. I don't know why Hasbro would do that, but Hasbro is Hasbro. God knows. All right. Well, the boots are made of a kind of hard, stiff plastic too, by the way. But again, they match the outfit and complement it pretty well. So, onto his equipment again. Came with a pair of goggles, pretty standard. And they work good on his head. Disadvantage, original elastic, by the way. Disadvantage here in the hood, but we'll show you something else that takes care of that later. See how loose it is? And there's no ties to tie it off. So, the Adventure Team sticker is some kind of iron-on, and it's held up over the years very well. Okay, the gear he came with is this gigantic, what they call a digital camera. Now, granted, this was 2000. That kind of stuff was a little bigger back then. But not that much bigger. My God, dude. And this ice axe here, which is kind of cool. I like it. It looks cool. Would be nice if they'd give you a piece of rope or something attached to it, but I don't know. Maybe he was going to bash the abominable snowman's head in with it. I don't know. Anyways, it's cool. And then this rifle. The rifle's design is pretty slick. I like it. Looks cool, but it definitely seriously needs some paint detail. And it's made out of kind of a rubbery, bendy plastic. I suppose that's a good thing because it ain't going to break really easily, but still. More paint detail, guys. That's one thing about a lot of the classic collection gear. Some of it was extremely well detailed, but you could see the exact same piece in another set, and the detail would suck. You know, no paint or anything like that. Okay, let's hold up just a minute. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab the other thing I was talking about that goes with this set. Okay, what we have here is a set called Ski Extreme. It came with a pair of very cool colored skis. I love those. These are neat. Just the colors. I mean, granted, it's totally impractical for the Arctic if you don't want to be seen, but they got the AT symbol on there. And this is some kind of sticker on there, but it's held up extremely well over the years. You'll notice that the ski bindings and attachments are quite different from vintage ones, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute. This set also came with a very cool ski mask, obviously ripped off from one of the Cobra guys in the HOF line. This kind of weird looking helmet, but you'll see how this is good. And a set of ski poles. But the crowning centerpiece of this particular set, oh, and sorry, I forgot about that, comes with this M16 machine pistol type variant thing. Said this one looks better. It's painted cool and the details are good, but the mags don't come out, and neither does the stock extend. So it's okay, not great, but good enough. Because when you come to this backpack inside is one of the coolest things that Classic Collection line ever did. Pop this baby open, and inside this backpack is a satellite communication set. Pretty freaking cool, huh? As I said, Classic Collection, hit or miss. This is definitely a freaking hit. These earphones pop out of here. There we go, out of that slot. You got a little control panel down there, and you got a screen. And this is definitely, and then the antenna goes right there. Oh, and also the rifle fits into either hole here, which is also kind of cool. All right. This piece is trick. I love it. This was a great idea. As I said, sometimes they fucking hit the mark awesomely, and sometimes they blew it. This time they hit the mark with this stuff. I believe that this set was designed as a companion piece to the Search for the Yeti set. And the reason why is obvious because of the snow theme. But also, you take this helmet and you stick it on G.I. Joe's head here. Oops, let's get those off. Stick it on G.I. Joe's head here. Hey, look at that. The hood fits perfectly even without any tie strings. Huh? Slick, huh? Okay. Also, the other reason why I'm pretty sure they designed this as a companion set is that these skis work with the boots. Climbs right up there and it clips right over this section of the boot. See how that works over those little tabs on the side? I don't see how they could not have planned it that way. Negatives, not too many in this little accessory kit. No ties on the ski poles, but that's easily fixed. Ski poles are kind of plain, just basic. But again, nothing wrong with that. So, get back on here. There you have it. Abominable, certainly. Search for the Yeti, redo of the Abominable Snowman vintage set. And Ski Extreme, excellent add-on to go along with the set. I like it. I think this is great. For me, Hasbro gets a 9 out of 10 on this one, and the only reason it ain't a 10 is because so much of the gear, the skis and the crampons, are either unique to the set, can't be used with any other set of boots, and the rifle detailing and the axe, as I kind of pointed out, and this absurdly sized video camera. All in all, I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. All right. Now let's move on to the heat of the desert. And we have this guy here. This is the redo of The Secret of the Mummy's Tomb in Classic Collection. And we're going to take a look at this guy. This dude is a basic figure body with gung-ho grip and muscle arms. He did not come with the t-shirt. I thought he looked silly with just the vest on, so I gave him a t-shirt. He comes with this really nice 45. Nicely detailed. With no holster. What the hell is that? Nowhere to put it. These pockets on the vest are very cool because they open up and you can actually put stuff in them. Not very big, but come on, open up. Oh yeah, there you go. Also, the AT sticker is very nice, iron-on type deal. I have gotten this wet, and it did not come off. And the vest is made out of, slightly thin, but pretty decent material. All right, now let's take a look at the belt and the other gear that comes with it. And as I said, there's no holster on this belt, no place to put anything. I mean, what the hell is that? You would think that in the other Classic Collection sets where they did actually include cloth belts and holsters, they would give them a holster. Now, I'm pretty sure they were going for an Indiana Jones type theme here because we got a nice whip. I have no idea what good that'll do Joe and getting the mummy, but okay. Cool. His big, wicked-looking kukri style knife. This one here, this knife here, the paint tends to go away when you stick it in there and leave it in there for a while, so I wouldn't recommend leaving that in there forever. I've also seen this knife come with a brown handle, brown plastic. This isn't paint, this is plastic painted handle, or excuse me, molded handle. A solid fake pouch. Maybe that's supposed to be the holster. Obviously for the whip. And the belt is this kind of rubbery, tacky, vinyl-y shit that I really don't much care for. But, yeah, it is what it is. It hasn't come apart and it hasn't made anything melt yet. So I guess we're good to go. All right, boots. You come with these very nice pair of very tall boots. They come almost all the way up to the knee. They're rubbery. They're in good condition. They haven't split or come apart or anything. They got this unusual looking lacing thing. Again, hearkening back towards... like Indiana Jones in the 1930s. If you guys have ever seen any of those old mummy movies that Universal did back in the 40s, kind of like that, The Mummy's Hand or The Mummy's, or just the original The Mummy, very similar to the kind of style that the clothes those guys wore in those movies. Very nice pith helmet. Three jewels, reminiscent of vintage, but quite a bit smaller and of a different design. Obviously, I'm sure that they did this so that people wouldn't be passing off these as vintage jewels. Very easy to tell the difference, and yet they look very nice. And for the mummy itself, ta-da! Yeah, he's kind of out of scale, just like the old guy was, but he looks cooler. Looks kind of mean and evil. Got a little bit of wrapping stuck on his head there. You can see his skull sticking out, and he does this. Ah! I think this was supposed to knock the coffin open, but it doesn't do too good a job of that. But in any event, not bad. Cool little stuff. I like it. All right, and there we have Secret of the Mummy's Tomb. Classic Collection redo. All right. On this particular figure, you got the same deal with the hair. You see how it's all kind of worn off on the front from his hair, from his hat. And as you can see, it's that same thin stuff like on the other guy over there. Not real great flocking. I have reflocked several of these guys because it was just falling off his head coming right out of the box. You look very close, so you can see there's barely any flock on there. But he's got a painted goatee underneath that. So I'll probably reflock this dude as well. Okay. Oh, an illustration of what I was saying about the smaller feet. This guy has got the smaller feet. He doesn't like to stand very well, and the reason why is because those feet are so little, and when you kind of push him forward a little bit like this to move his ankle so he won't fall back down, the boots got enough spring in them that they push it all the way back again. Notice this in a lot of these Classic Collection figures when the ankle joints start to get loose after you play with them a lot. But anyway, and yes, I did play with this one a lot. Judge me, judge me. Okay, guys, there you have it. Nice review of the Classic Collection in general. A couple of what I consider some of its best sets. Mummy's Tomb here gets another 9 out of 10. The only reason why I don't get the 10 is because of this crappy rubber belt, no holster. And for God's sakes, guys, why didn't you come up with a modern version of the ATV? I'd have paid an extra 25 bucks for this set if it had come with something extra cool like that. Anyway, all right, guys, there you have it. Fun video, right? Yeah, okay. I have some other Classic Collection sets, and I will be pulling a few of those out and show off some of the other pros and cons. But all in all, I want to say this again. A lot of vintage purists don't like these dudes, but I'll tell you what, they embody all the flaws and all the virtues of the original G.I. Joe. And I think they are a worthy addition to the line. So, have fun, play with your Joes, and we'll be back in a little bit with another video, which I'm not going to post for a couple of days, so it makes it look like I'm posting videos regularly. Yeah, you get that? Okay. All right. It's a slick trick, but you'll fall for it. I know. Okay, anyhow, have a great night. Have a great day. Be safe, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I could not do this without you guys, and as you can probably tell, I really like doing this. So, we'll see you next time on another episode of Mike's Laboratory. Let's get them all back on duty.